guys, my name is Lisa Graves and this is Nailchemy's YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this video.
So I've done all my prep work. So I'm coming in with my nail prep to dehydrate and then I'm going to prime. So give that a couple of seconds to dry and then we can come in with our Nailchemy base coat. And you really need to make sure that you're working this into the nail. And then that can go in for a full cure. These are the jewel forms, so they come in all sorts of different sizes. They are all numbered as well, and these are reusable as well, so which is great. So when this nail has come out of the lamp, we need to measure up our tip. So I'm just going to see how a 4 looks on this one. A little bit smaller, so let's try. I think a 3 is going to be a touch on the big side. Oh no, I think we might be all right. So if it does come over a little bit, we can just file that down. So okay, so I am using the clear aura gel, and I have found some little dried leaves that I'm going to be chopping up. So just with a small pair of scissors, just going to cut some of these leaves off. Some big bits, some medium-sized bits. Keep them all together on there, that should be enough. Okay, so you're going to need your slip solution. It looks like this. Pop some of that into your dappen dish, and you're also going to need your Nailchemy aura gel brush that looks like this. So give that a good squeeze, and we're going to squash it onto the end of the form like this. So dip your brush into your slip solution, and we need to make sure that this section across the top, I'm going to zoom in a little bit for this. You need to make sure that this section is nice and thin, like so. Now I'm not going to worry about, I don't know if you can see, there's a couple of little air bubbles in there. I'm not going to worry about that for this particular nail because we are doing the Mojito. I think that's really it's gonna look like lemonade. It's gonna add that little bit of depth to the drink. But make sure that this section is nice and thin, and then we're gonna pull it down. Obviously make sure the rest of the nail isn't too thick as well, because we are gonna have to put a teeny tiny little bit more on top. I really like those air bubbles actually.
I'm liking that.
So I recommend taking the aura gel just past the length that you want. You can, if you want to as well, when you're measuring the nail up, you can decide with your clients and maybe just pop a mark on with like a Sharpie pen or something to mark up the length that you want, just that you know where to get to. But like I say, you can always take the length down, so just give it a rough guide. Right, so that's nice and smooth, so I'm going to pick up some of these leaves now and just press them in.
Oh, clever.
Have you not seen this before, Sam?
Well, whenever we've done them before, you've done them actually straight onto the nail, so when you've done that, you've normally done it as you've put it on before we cure it.
How does that look? So it'll look like that on there. I think
that big one at the bottom.
No, I was thinking just one of those little ones, just about here.
Oh god, and you can still see the bubbles, which is great.
I'm going to drink your nails.
Oh, don't, because all I can think about now is I've got porn star martini on the brain now.
We'll do you a porn star martini. So really make sure that these are pressed into your aura gel. Right, so where was I? Right, we've just pressed them into the aura gel. Right, so I'm just going to get a very, very small amount now. Just pop that on there. So obviously the top section of this is going to be secured onto the nail, but the bottom section, just so that these leaves don't come out. Fabulous. Right, so you are going to need your LED lamp close by. And what we're going to do, I love those air bubbles. That's really working for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be applying this straight up at the cuticle. I'm going to be applying it just a little bit lower so I can add my own apex in. So I need to line this up and make sure that you're coming in at quite a steep angle. If I go too flat, when I press it down, all the product will spill up out the edge. So I need to come in at quite a high angle. And then I'm going to slowly come and press this down. Now it's important not to apply too much pressure. Sam, could you be a doll and just flash the lamp on that for me?
How do I do that?
Button on the back. There we go. So yeah, it's important not to apply too much pressure, otherwise you'll squash all the product down over the free edge. So I can feel that that's nice and secure onto the nail now, so I can let go of that. Just make sure that we're giving that a really good cure, and then that can go into the lamp as it is. Okay, when that comes out of the lamp, we just need to give this a careful little wiggle so that you can see it's coming away at the end now. Just a little wiggle, 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 and it will eventually pop off like that. So before I add in my apex, because you can see from the side there's really not much of an apex going on there, I'm just going to tidy up my, and you know, I love the finish on this because it's shiny and it's basically finished, but it's not. I'm just going to tidy up the shape and sort my length out as well. Add our apex in. So we don't need a lot, just a smidge. I'm gonna pop that up there and then just work that like you would normally. Okay, smooth that down and then that can go back in for a cure. Okay, so that's come out the lamp. I'm just going to wipe over this with my nail plate cleanser. Right, so I'm going to be using a matte, where is it? I'm going to be using the Velvet Matte top coat on this nail for one of two reasons. One, because I'm going to be doing some hand painting, and two, because I think it's going to give the nail an overall really nice finished frosted glass tequila look. However, if you don't like it at the end, if you don't like it in matte, you can then gloss over it, but you will still need the matte finish for your painting. Okay, pop that in the lamp for me, Sam. Yes! Yeah, I think that looks good. And then obviously once we've drawn on it, we can put some, we'll put some water droplets on it as well in the top coat. Your white, so that's the green one. And then you're going to need your black as well. Okay, so just on my palette, I'm going to pop a little bit of each colour. Whoops, almost. A little bit of each colour. I always only add a little bit. You can always get more if needs be. Right, let's see that.
Don't waste the product.
Right, so I've got my gel art brush and the ultrafine 000. Can you see that there? And then I've got the 8mm liner as well. I might use all of them, I might only use one of them. We're just gonna see how it goes. Okay, so I want to have, I think I'm gonna do a full like half slice of, is it lime? Yeah, lime. And then I might do like a little one over here. So first things first, I need to kind of mark out where I'm going in my white. So just with the 8mm liner. Too much. Just mark that up like that. And then down here around somewhere, I'm going to do a... No, I don't like that there. I don't like that there. I want it more on the nail. Let's go about... No, let's go up here. Because then we can pretend that they're floating in the top of the cocktail glass. Don't stress too much about getting your circles perfect. Don't worry if you've got like lines on the inside of it, because we are going to be filling this in and we'll be edging it as well afterwards. So Mr. Max wanting to come in.
And also, if you've ever found a perfectly round line, show me.
Right, give that a flash cure for me please, Sam, just 10 seconds. So I've got my outline in, so I'm going to use my gel art brush now. So this is just a little bit bigger, this is more for colouring in. Right, so with gel art brush, I'm just going to paint this in. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be building up lots of layers on this. But this is just going to give you a bit of background colour so that your greens will really pop. I think I'm going to need my neon green as well, just for a bit of dimension. Okay, pop that in for me, Sam. While that's cooking, I will get the neon green out as well. So, I mean, to be fair, they are fairly similar. Obviously, the neon just pops a little bit. You can't really see, oh, you can see it there. But what I'll probably end up doing is adding a little bit of white to the neon green, just to tone it up a little bit. Right, so back with our 8mm brush, I'm going to use the green first. And what I'm going to do, make sure you've got a fair amount on your brush. I'm going to come in and edge all of this. Oh, wrong green. Again, don't forget you're doing a lime, and limes aren't perfect circles. They're round, but they're not perfect circles, so don't stress about it being absolutely perfect. Okay, right, we are going to need some top coat. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of top coat on my palette. Wipe my brush off, and then what I'm going to do is dip into my dip into my top coat, and I'm going to, if I can get the angle right, I'm going to use the top coat to pull this colour down very, very gently and just start feathering that colour out. Okay, put that in the lamp for me, Sam. I'm going to repeat the process on the small slice of lime as well. Okay, so on our next section we're going to start drawing the segments of the lime. So I'm just loading my brush up, so I'm just pulling my brush through that gel, but I don't want any blobs on my brush. I just want enough paint on there. Turn your hand this way. Right, so first let's do our first section in the middle here. So I'm just going to very lightly trace it out. So I want it about that thick, and then it's going to start coming down. So I've just got the top of that segment of fruit. So I'm just going to again blob my colour along the top there. And I think what I might do as well while I'm here, add a little bit of that neon green next to it. And then again with our top coat, I'm going to use this to pull this down along that segment, and as we're pulling it, it is again going to water itself down because we're blending it out with the top coat. So you'll get all different dimensions of colour in there. Can you see that? So just give that a quick flash cure for me, Sam. And then we can repeat the same process either side of it. That'll do, Sam. Just enough to stop it moving. So again, my next segment's going to be here. So a blob of the darker green along the top there. Bit of the neon green. And then top coat. Why did I do it up in this corner? I don't know.
I don't know. I can get into the position.
And again, just pull this down, feather those colours down towards what would be the centre of the lime. I keep going to say cucumber. It's not. Cucumbers do not look like this.
I wouldn't allow you to put cucumbers on my nails anyway. Don't like cucumbers.
Do you know what I've done?
What have you done?
I've had it in my head that I'm doing This is why I keep going to say cucumbers, and I got blackout because I was doing a cucumber. For the black seeds in the middle of the cucumber. They have like tiny little black dots in the middle, don't they? So we're not going to need our black, but I'll use that black on the next nail. Okay, right, so last segment on this larger one. Again, we want our dark green, and then in with the neon green. So when you put the colours side by side like that, you really don't see much of a difference between the normal green and the neon green, but obviously when they're pulled out and stretched like that, you really can see the difference. Little blob of top coat. Need to become a contortionist for this, Sam.
It's not a problem.
And then use your top coat to really pull those colours down. Fabulous. Right, so I don't need to flash cure that just yet because I'm not working anywhere near this. Right, so this little one is going to be a little bit trickier because it is so small. So you just need to make sure that your sections are tiny, tiny, tiny. And to be fair, I'm not going to use the neon green on this because it is such a small section. Now if you're comfortable doing more sections in a go for it. If you want to do each little section at a time and then flash cure, I'm going to use the neon green on a couple of them actually.
Just get that different definition between the two.
So you can do a couple of sections and then flash cure, or go hell for leather and do the whole thing. Depends how comfortable you are working and how much your client is capable of sitting still, I guess. Fabulous. Right, pop that one in for me, please, Sam.
A bit of definition.
Yeah, I am going to use the black after all. I'm just going to get a tiny little bit of this black and mix it with some of the normal green. Just to take that green a shade darker. Like so.
Wow, they look fantastic.
I'm going to add a little bit of top coat next to that. because I don't want this colour solid, I just want it quite light. So I'm mixing that dark green that we've just made up with a bit of top coat. And just going to add this around the edge. So you can see it's barely there, but what it's doing is just adding a little bit of shadow around the edge. I think I need to add a little bit more green around the edge of that.
I thought it looked really good, but it's your work.
I think I might add a little bit more green. Right, so adding that little bit of shading. I'm just, again with my top coat, I'm just going to pull that out and just blend that out into nothing. Yeah, I think I want to add a little bit more depth to that. So I'm going to come back in around the edge of, not the cucumber,
The
lime. So that first step that we did, just pulling that green in, I just feel it needs a little bit more, so I'm just going over that and adding a little bit more. So it's not going to need a lot more blending because we've already blended it. Just adding a little bit more green to it. Okay. Happy with that. Pop that in for me, please, Sam. Right, so obviously we want the nail matte, and we've used our artisan paints, and these artisan paints do need top coating anyway. So it would be at this point if you want to decide if you're doing a matte nail or a glossy finish nail. I definitely want to keep this nail matte, so I'm going to now cover the whole nail with the velvet matte finish. If you did want to gloss it up, you would just go straight in with your gloss. However, I'm going to be doing matte because I'm going to be adding water droplets in my glossy finish. And if you were adding water droplets, I wouldn't recommend doing it on a glossy finish because you just won't be able to see them. So give that a full top coat and pop that in for me, please, Sam. Where's a dotting tool when you need one? There it is. Right, so any of your Nailchemy dotting tools will work. I always tend to use a small one if I'm adding water droplets, because obviously I can do tiny droplets with that, and I can pick up a lot of top coat and add big dollops if I want to. So I'm just going to get some top coat on my dotting tool like this, and then what I'm going to do is first of all on where should we add them? Just in a couple of places on towards the top of what the glass would be. Going to add a couple of dots. Just give those a flash cure for me, please. And what you'll find is if you go over the same drops a couple of times, they'll really become quite prominent. So maybe 2 or 3 times.
Go back to the nail palette, guys.
Oh no. Okay, pop that out. So just back over what we've just done, and that really makes them pop. Okay, give that a flash cure for me, please, Sam. And then I'm going to use my ultrafine. Let's get in focus there. Ultrafine 000.
Sorry.
That's all right. Okay, so on to our lime. Jesus! Oh my goodness. Lime. I was going to say lemon then because I was trying not to say cute. I'm not very good with this.
No, we're doing lemon on a different nail.
Clearly I don't eat enough fruit. Right, so I'm just adding some droplets onto our lime. Yeah, lime. So I'm using the brush to create, I don't know if you can See that, how when I'm putting them on, I'm pointing the brush always to the centre of the line. Let's do some dinky ones on here. Okay, pop that in for me, Sam. I'm not going to be adding too much detail to the smaller slice of lime because it is so tiny. But the bigger slice, I'm going to come in again and add a second lot of the blobs that can come out now, please, Sam. So, and this is where having that matte finish really helps. Silly Max. Okay, pop that one in, and then to finish these off, where did I put my palette? Over here. Still using the Ultrafine 000. You need the smallest amount of white on your brush. Again, no beads of gel, so I'm just going to twist my brush in it and just load it up. You can skip this bit if you've got bad eyesight or you're going to struggle with it. By all means, skip this section. This is such the tiniest detail that only nail techs would notice. But on all of these droplets, I'm just going to add a little reflection of light. So it just makes it a little bit more 3D. If you can hear some bouncing in the background, it's my darling daughter playing basketball. We are in half term. Oh, yeah, I'm going to add them to that one, I think. So when you're adding your highlights, make sure that they're all coming from the same angle, that on each bead I've come round the left hand side of it. Okay, Sam, pop that in for me, please. And I'm going to be using the Melon Elixir Cuticle Oil, so nice and sparingly because we have used the velvet matte finish. We don't want to end up then glossing it up with the cuticle oil. And there we go.
Fantastic.
So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Don't forget to give us a little thumbs up, hit like on that video, drop any comments that you've got down in the comment section below, and more importantly, make sure you hit subscribe so that you get a notification for all of our future videos. All of the products that I've used today you can find on our website, which is nailchemy.co.uk, and I will see you in the next video.